From local stories to Wayne County news, get ready to dive into everything happening in North Carolina with Taylor House Publishing. Got a story to share? Shoot us an email at taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. If you're looking to publish your book or need some top-notch mentorship, we've got your back. Join the excitement with the one and only Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you in your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop. Taylor House Publishing.
All right, so what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Richard Taylor, and I'm back. As you see the caption, a young man in Jacksonville, Florida, was the victim of unaliving by Jacksonville police. Now, let me ask you, do you guys remember when someone was unalived by the police? There was national coverage of it. You know, it was almost on every news station. Every news outlet talked about it. You know, people across the nation and across the world were outraged. Well, not so much so more. The reason why is these incidents has been becoming more and more of a common occurrence, in which now you don't even hear about them. This incident happened in Jacksonville or Arlington, a suburb of Duval County, on Wednesday, almost 4 days ago. And I just received word of it in a chat last night while I was doing a live, talking about how the federal government and the courts don't give us justice when it comes to these matters of these sorts. Now, as you know, we've been covering the Javion McGee case, and we have some things unfolding in that as we speak. We also covered the case of Denoris Richardson down in Alabama, who expired under some strange circumstances, as well as Jacoby Lindsay in Mississippi, who expired under some strange circumstances. But what I want to do right now is I'm going to play you 3 news videos that covering these instances, or this instances, and the man name I think was Dejuane Hayden. May God rest his soul. Condolences to his family, who was unalived by the police. But I want to show you how these 3 news media videos use key trigger words to denigrate, to vilify, to dehumanize this young man who was unalived unnecessarily, in my opinion, by this police officer. But it all goes back to the dehumanization of black men from now until then. The same tactics they used back then to suspend us in the air from ropes are the same tactics that they are doing now to commit these modern day unalivings. But just check this first news video out, and I'm going to come back and commentate on it real quick. But just check out the wording, the key words, the trigger words that they're going to use in this video.
Local news, we are learning more about an officer-involved shooting that happened in the Arlington area last night. A man killed by an officer after Jacksonville police say the man did not comply with commands given. This happened on Justina Road, and now the state attorney's office is conducting an independent investigation into this incident. News4Jax anchor Alicia Booth-Sprecher's here with the latest on the sheriff's office investigation into all this. Alicia?
Joy, Sheriff T.K. Waters says that he is committed to being transparent with the community, including releasing body-worn camera footage of critical incidents within 21 days. He also added that the sheriff's office is aware of a video that's circulating on social media that was recorded near the scene of the shooting. JSO says the video was not recorded where the shooting actually occurred and doesn't capture the events that led to the officer's use of force. Now, police say about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, officers were doing some surveillance in the area, some known gang members. They said that they had witnessed them flashing guns back and forth and engaging in drug-related activities. Now, when they went to approach the men, police say that 2 of them complied, but one took off running with his gun and an officer followed. Police said that the man drew the gun and the officer fired 4 times, hitting the man once. Now, the man then fell to the ground and dropped his gun. Police say the officer continued to give him commands, but the man did not listen and continued to run before being taken into custody. Now, he was taken to a hospital where he died. Police later identified the man as 30-year-old Dejuane Hayden. Police also say that they recovered this gun at the scene. As for the other 2 men, police said that they remained at the scene and were taken into custody. JSO identified the officer involved in the shooting as Bradley Griffiths, who had been working for the sheriff's office for the past 6 years. They say that this is the 2nd officer involved shooting and the 5th officer involved shooting this year.
All right, so you heard that video. Now, they started the video saying that the gentleman did not comply, already creating a narrative where, okay, he's being disruptive, or, he's being disobedient, right? And so then they talk about the sheriff saying he's going to, release any body footage within about 21 days. Now, we all know 21 days is a long time, but it's not too long to make some changes to the video with modern technology. But what I want you to focus on is the trigger keywords. The police were doing surveillance on some known gang members. I mean, she stuttered. She couldn't wait to get that out. Some known gang members who were flashing guns and handling drug-related activities, right? And so that already paints the narrative. Flashing guns, known gang members, labeling them, not men, not brothers, not sons, gang members. That automatically takes the sting off when the officer does what he does. Now, they said the man took off running with his gun. They didn't say he pointed the gun at the officer. They didn't say he waved the gun. They said he drew his gun. Now, I've been in some situations when I had a gun illegally, and my homeboys did, so we ran and we tried to get rid of the gun, right? Never in this article or this in video did they say that the man pointed the gun. So just because he had a gun in his hand does not mean that he deserved it to be shot. But this is the wording. He drew his gun, meaning they're trying to think he drew it and pointed at the officer. No, he probably tried to pull it out and throw it somewhere. And if you watch this, the last video, I'm going to show you, like, it happened in a split second. So there was, that, like, you can literally hear the people who saw it saying, man, I can't believe you did that. Like, you can hear the shots like maybe 10 or 15 feet. So it wasn't like a long chase and the officer, they was dipping through alleys and he had to see him and shoot at a split second. No, he shot that. He probably, shot him in the back while he was running. Now, again, they said, okay, after he shot the man, still did not comply. Using that word, did not comply. He was running and then he was taken into custody where he expired. But watch how this second article uses the same narrative. Surveillance, known gang members, flashing guns, drugs. That is the narrative that paints. So when these things do happen, he was a gang member. He was a drug dealer. He was flashing guns. So yeah, he deserved his fate. But let's check out this second article.
9 o'clock news starts right now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking right now at 10, a man is dead in an officer-involved shooting in Jacksonville's Arlington area. We have a live look from our night cam right now of the scene. This was the scene earlier today before the sun went down. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office held a news conference earlier about the incident. Police say officers were conducting some surveillance in the area on some known gang members.
They said that they had witnessed them flashing guns back and forth and engaging in drug-related activities. Again, that's from JSO. This incident happened on Justino Road in the Arlington area, and now the state attorney's office is conducting an independent investigation into what happened.
We want to head out to News4Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher, who has more about what happened. Alicia?
Joy, the scene just cleared, but an hour ago, this area was filled with dozens of JSO officers, multiple crime scene unit vans, and crime scene tape. Investigators were seen taking photos in this parking lot and canvassing the area, and also a black SUV. JSO says they were doing an investigation, and they were doing surveillance on some known gang members who were flashing guns back and forth and engaging in drug-related activities. The officers then made a plan to make contact with the three individuals. As officers walked up to them, two of the three complied, but the third person took off running with his gun, and an officer chased him, according to JSO.
As the person drew the gun, the officer voiced out that he had a gun. He engaged the suspect, shot 4 times. The suspect did go to the ground. He dropped the gun. The officer continued to give him commands while he was there on the ground. He did not comply. Instead, he stood up. He raised his hands. We're assuming just to show that they were empty at that point. They're obviously empty. The officer continued to foot pursuit at that point. He jumped a wall. So the officer put out to the other officers in the area that he ran southbound. A couple officers did find him, and they took him into custody. He was shot. They started rendering aid to him, requested rescue. They continued providing aid until rescue responded and took him to a local hospital. He did not survive his injuries.
This marks the 5th officer-involved incident, according to JSO. The state attorney's office say they will be conducting their own investigation. As we learn more, we'll continue to update you here on air as well as on News4Jax.com. But for now, reporting live, Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
Alicia, thank you.
All right, so there you have once again the same narrative. Now, first, the two anchor men and the anchor woman at the desk stated, well, they were surveilling some known gang members who were flashing guns and participating in drug-related activity. Now, the statement, the state attorney is going to be performing their own investigation. Now, we all know how related the state is to those local authorities. They send the same state investigator to every crime, so they have a relationship. Now, my black girl Alicia Hatcher comes with the same narrative. Yeah, the police officers were surveilling some gang-related, some known gang members, and they were flashing guns and participating in drugs. The officers approached the individuals, and they one of them run, and then he was hit. Now they bring the chief or whoever that was once again explaining the narrative. Yeah, well, the officer, he engaged the suspect. The suspect drew his gun. The officer engaged them and shot 4 times. Once again, he didn't engage them. He unalived them. Then after being shot, he stood up with his hands. Still, he did not comply. Once again, still planting that narrative in your head that this man is the worst person ever. He's not complying. He's a known gang member. He had a gun. He was flashing his weapon. He had some drugs on him. None of that justifies killing a man, probably shooting him in the back, saying, and you hear him say, gun, 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 automatically, right? And then shots fired. Now, we've seen people of other races go on unaliving sprees and get taken into custody without a hitch, get taken to McDonald's and all of those things. Why is it anytime that a person of color even has a gun, he's automatically considered a threat? And we're going to go back to that after this last video. And then he said that they were rendering aid. We all know they were not rendering aid. Once again, those are things to make you sympathize with the people who did that to this gentleman. Now, the last article is the most egregious, the most the most despicable or deplorable in their depiction of the young man. And what's worse to me, they have another black man as an anchor man doing this. You can even see from the name of the article. What does it say? Known gang member, 30-year-old known gang member dead after officer involved shooting in Arlington, right? That is the title, known gang member in quotation marks, meaning, yeah, he's a known gang member. He deserves his fate, right? But listen to this last video for me. And
deadly police shooting in Jacksonville. I'm Tanika Hughes.
And I'm Ben Becker. JSO officers say they shot a suspected gang member in Arlington. It happened on Justino Road near Merrill Road, not far from the JU campus. JSO says one officer shot a suspect who ran and who had a gun. There was also a live stream going on as police moved in.
On the ground now.
Police say it all started with officers running surveillance on what JSO calls known gang members. Action Jack's Nicholas Brooks is live at JSO. Nicholas, since your report at 10 o'clock, JSO has shared the name of the suspect.
That's right, JSO has released the name of the suspect, which is Dejuane Hayden. And we actually dug into Hayden's criminal records and found out that he has been charged before with possession of cocaine and a firearm. We also showed video of moments before when that shooting happened earlier today.
On the ground. On the ground now.
A JSO source confirmed that this Facebook Live video shows JSO officers approached the three suspects in what would end as a deadly police shooting. It happened around 4:00 p.m. You can see two officers with their guns drawn, ordering them to put guns down. Seconds later, you faintly hear what sounded like gunshots.
Get on the ground! That's my little brother, man. Get on the ground now! That's my little brother, man.
They didn't just do that. They didn't just do
What
that.
the hell, that's my little brother, man?
They didn't just do that, bro.
JSO says officers were on Justino Road surveilling what they call confirmed gang members flashing guns while also selling drugs. They made a plan to approach the suspects. Two of them surrendered. You can see a man in a red hoodie with his hands behind his head and on his knees. But one suspect ran off. Police say he was still armed and police chased.
As the person drew the gun, the officer voiced out that he had a gun. He engaged the suspect, shot 4 times. The suspect did go to the ground.
The injured man was taken to the hospital where he died. The two who surrendered are currently in custody for questioning. Yeah, and JSO also says that this is their 5th police-involved shooting this year. For the coverage you can count on, I'm Nicholas Brooks, Action News Jax.
Thank you, Nicholas.
All right, so now that is the last article. Now you notice all during the video, it has on the screen, suspect killed by JSO. All right. And once again, it started with the same narrative. They were surveilling known gang members. And what's worse, they had my brother up there. And first thing he says is, yeah, we digged into his criminal history, and he has a charge of possession of cocaine and a firearm. Like, that matters. I have a record too. Does that mean that, I'm going to go out and do something that's going to put somebody else's life in danger? Once again, that is a part of criminalizing, dehumanizing, defaming the individual after he has been expired or unalived unnecessarily. He said that once again they were confirmed members of gangs, and they were selling drugs. And you heard the shot. You heard the shots when the brother was like, "Man, no, you just didn't shoot my little brother, man. No, you didn't." Because everybody knows he probably saw him running away. He just gonna run away. They gotta catch him. It happens all the time. We run from the police especially if we got drugs or guns. We don't want to go to jail. We run from you, right? So the guy was like, "Man, no, he just didn't shoot my little brother, man. No, you just didn't shoot him." Then once again, get on the ground. Then once again, they got to justify the suspect drew his gun, not the man, not the father, not the child. You know what I'm saying? Not the uncle, the suspect. And then you have once again the chief coming up there, and he's given that narrative, he engaged the suspect and shot 4 times. Then you have another black man standing beside him, knowing, okay, look, whatever happened to shoot to disarm? Why you have to shoot him 4 times? He was never in any of these videos did he say he turned around and pointed the gun at the officer. Probably, once again, he probably wanted to run, ditch the gun, and not get caught with it. Nevertheless, I'm not advocating, I'm not condoning any gang behavior, any illicit substance behavior, or, any illegal weapon possession. However, that officer does not have the right to be the judge, jury, and executioner. But as we've seen throughout the past decade and a half, that no matter if it was Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, Freddie Gray, Breonna Taylor, Walter Scott. I mean, you can go on. You fill in your own name. Philando Castile, who had a gun and told the officer, look, I got a gun, it's registered. And he just automatically, gun, bow, bow, bow. Why is it when black men have a gun, they're automatically deemed suspect? I don't know if you saw, I think it was in Florida, Texas, where the military guy, the police was knocking on his door. I'll probably cover that tomorrow. They were knocking on his door and they were outside of view, so they couldn't see him. So my brother walked to the door with his strap and opened the door. And as soon as they saw him with his gun, it was pointed down. As soon as they saw him, they opened fire on him. Like, you knocked on my door. I have a God-given Second Amendment right to bear arms. So why is it that every time police even think, you see, what's my brother up in Seattle, where he had a cell phone, he had a sandwich. If they even think we got a gun, they got to shoot us. But that goes to what I was talking about last night, the Dred Scott decision. That in America, as that decision was, a black man has no rights that a white man is bound to respect. And that was during slavery times, but it seems that it is still here today. Once again, that happened Wednesday. We are just finding out about it yesterday. And I'm pretty sure you guys are just finding out about it today. So, in the context of the other unalivements that we've been investigating, Javion McGee, Denoris Richardson, and Jacoby Lindsay down in Mississippi, those are the private unalivements. The suspending in heirs, where they used to do back then. But why did they do it back then? Because they said black men were aggressive. They were lazy. They were shiftless. They were inherently criminal. You know what I mean? We got to protect society from them. So we got to string them up and make a public spectacle of them. And what are they doing today? Once again, criminal, gang suspect, drug dealer, criminal record, surveillance. They're doing the same thing to justify these modern day lynchings, as I put up, just as in the past. So we got to be careful with that. And then they're using our brothers and sisters to create the narrative. Once again, every article said, according to JSO. Who is the JSO? The Jacksonville Sheriff Office. So they are creating the narrative as they go along. And those two brothers who saw it are going to testify, no, he didn't. He was running away, but they already have them on charges. So they're going to, silence them by taking them to court, by giving them time, or by saying, okay, if you be quiet, we're not going to, charge you with this. Now, if they stand up guys, they're going to be like, yo, man, you charged me, but that officer right there, and as they mentioned, it is the 5th officer involved shooting, but the second unalivement. So there we establish a pattern of this department, with doing that. So we got to be careful when we buy into these narratives. You see how all 3 articles or videos ran and implanted and suggested criminal, gang member, drug activity, flashing weapons. Okay, no need to be outraged about this because, yeah, this guy was a criminal. He had a criminal record. Yeah, of course, the officer did what he, look at him. But that's not the case, and that shouldn't be the case in these and all matters. And so I think the town is asking for the body cam footage, as they always do. It's always an outrage, but then again, you know, sometimes the sheriff do what they want. They don't release the footage. The SBI comes in and they deemed it justified, and then what? You know, everybody goes home until it happens again. But this is just one of many. We're probably going to start covering some more, but definitely stay tuned for the Javion McGee situation. We're going to have his father, Corey McGee, on coming Monday, but I also got some other things. I've been hearing some things that, you know, we have done a lot of shaking up. So if you are interested in still making our presence felt, I want you to go to the FBI website. Now, the FBI website, I've been giving the name of a civil rights individual who does the civil rights cases, and her name is Kristen Clark, and she is the person who handles the police involved, or, you know, suspicious involvement of the unalivement of Black people. So you go to the FBI website and click the civil rights tab and send your tip, send your concerns, which we've all pointed out about the death of our brother Javion McGee, and, you know, or you can call, but, you know, definitely they said get in contact with her office. It is the Civil Rights Office in DC of the FBI, and her name is once again Kristen Clark. So please be sure, if you are able to get online, you know, fill out that little tip, and then so once we can get traction. I'm hearing we already got some traction from people in the city. I have, well, I'm not going to speak on those things right now because once again, we still have some things in the works, and we don't want those things to be sabotaged. But nevertheless, 919-587-7782. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, you share, and subscribe to the video so once again we can get this information out and keep the eyes on those who need to be watched. Once again, Ephesians 5:11, take no thought, take no part in the works of darkness, rather expose them, because it is a shame to even speak of the things they do in secret. So we want to stay vigilant. We want to stay dedicated and committed to seeking righteousness and justice. As Amos 5:8 said, let justice roll down like mighty waters and righteousness like a never-ending stream. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a blessed day. 919-587-7782. Peace and love.
With the one and only Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Little stories that keep you on your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop.
Taylor House Publishing.